Allie, apologies. Would you try that again, please? I do, yeah.
Streaming on clickorlando.com. You're watching News 6 at 10.
Now on News 6, cold and getting much, much colder. Freeze warnings are out, and meteorologist Jonathan Kegas says the coldest air in years is coming.
And amid tensions over ice actions in Minnesota, Orlando admits it can't do anything to block ICE from building a detention center here. The reason in minutes.
He sends me the picture, and immediately my heart dropped. These kids could go flying.
That picture is now going viral, while her son and several others rode to school on the floor of the school bus.
Look up at my windows. I care less about that. But he didn't deserve to leave. He didn't deserve that.
Her dog is dead, hit by a car after a TikTok challenge kicked in her door. How our own Molly Reed got investigators to reopen the case, and who is being charged. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Matt Austin.
I'm Ginger Gadsden. We'll have those stories in just a moment, but first, here's Eric Von Anken with tonight's top stories.
And just took off, so I was a little bit disappointed. Open the door and just ask if you can drag my body out of the street or something.
Just in, Matt and Ginger, that senior was just riding his e-bike when he was hit by an SUV and dragged. He is angry tonight. There's the bike. The driver kept going, while deputies say they had to tase the man behind the wheel to get him to stop. But first, we start with Central Florida feeling the freeze yet again. If you can hear my voice, you're either under a freeze watch or a freeze warning, probably why nobody is out in downtown Mount Dora tonight, or anybody else for that matter. Want to bring in our meteorologist, Jonathan Kegas. Jonathan, you have been forecasting this, and it's only the beginning.
It is, yeah. This is going to be an extended stretch. Normally, we're used to these blasts that maybe last like a day or two. Then we're back up to the 80s. This one is going to last a while, and Eric mentioned it. We have those freeze watches and warnings in play. The blue is the freeze warning, that purple color. That's mainly along the northwest of I-4 for tonight. The freeze watch, meaning in the next 36 hours, the possibility to drop below freezing is going to be there as well. That is going to be for tomorrow. So over the next couple of nights, it is going to get cold. The real crux, or the core of the cold, gets here as we get into the upcoming weekend. We'll talk much more about that coming up in about 15 minutes. It's chilling out there right now, though. DeLand, we've now dropped to 47. We're at 47 in Palm Coast and Daytona Beach. The wind tonight is adding a little bit of insult to injury. The wind gusts in Palm Coast, 36 miles an hour, 33 in Melbourne, Cocoa Beach. We are now gusting to 32 miles per hour, 28 mile per hour gust in Leesburg as we continue to watch the colder air situated back up towards our north drain down the Florida Peninsula. We'll take you hour by hour and talk about the arrival of this chill and when we talk about potentially The coldest days in about 15 years, Eric.
That is a long time
Crazy.
and a lot to talk about, Jonathan. See you soon. Thank you. New at 10 tonight, a story you will only see right here. The victim of an e-bike crash is talking only to News 6 after investigators say they identified the driver who hit him, dragged him, and kept going. This was Friday morning in Palm Coast. Since then, the Flagler County Sheriff's Office says surveillance video helped them identify the car. Tonight, News 6's Troy Campbell is talking with that victim.
Right now, we're standing along Palm Coast Parkway and Lake Forest Way, where 75-year-old David Blank says he was riding his e-bike on Friday morning. However, he says moments after entering the roadway, he was struck by a vehicle and dragged several feet.
I went ahead and went, and boom, it was just broadsided. I mean, I was right in the middle of his hood.
75-year-old David Banks says he was riding his e-bike to the store up the street on Friday when he was hit by an SUV. He says after falling to the ground, he heard the vehicle drive away.
He killed it and just took off, so I was a little bit disappointed. I opened the door and just asked if you can drag my body out of the street or something. I mean,
The Flagler County Sheriff's Office says, according to surveillance video evidence, the vehicle is seen pulling forward and striking David on his e-bike, dragging the bike and him approximately 6 feet. Investigators say they eventually located the white Mazda SUV in a driveway along Beaver Dam Lane and noticed damage to the front driver's side fender. That's when deputies say they made contact with 38-year-old Andrea Matranga at the front door of the home, who immediately stated there was no crash before officers even spoke with him. A deputy wrote he attempted to take the door and with force attempt to slam the door on my foot, still yelling that he wanted me to get off of his property, attempting to completely shut the door. Officers say they went on to deploy a taser twice, but it was ineffective due to his baggy clothing. A third time would prove successful, and he was taken into custody on several charges, including leaving the scene of a crash with injury and battery on an officer. Blank says he's just thankful to be alive.
because I don't hold malice towards anybody, but be a human being. I mean, at least check on somebody if there's a possibility that you might be able to help somebody. It's my lucky day. It's the way I look at it, you know? I mean, because it could have been terrible. It could have been terrible. So, you know, I feel blessed.
Deputies also say a relative of Matranga's did say he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He did have a driver's license, but he was known to sneak out and drive around. Officials also say he was released on a $15,000 bond. In Flagler County, Troy Campbell, News 6.
And so glad that rider's okay. Tonight, tensions remain high in Minneapolis, and more videos and more reactions are pouring in from this weekend's shooting death by Border Patrol agents of an ICU nurse who worked at a VA hospital. The President Trump, has reassigned his Border Patrol commander. He also talked by phone with Minnesota's governor, while there are unanswered questions about how and why agents shot 37-year-old Alex Preto. The Minneapolis police chief tells CBS his men and women are tired, and the shooting only added to their stress.
I just absolutely couldn't believe it. Like, I thought for sure we were going to completely lose control of the city at this point.
It was so shocking that you said you were shaking.
Yeah, I was shaking. It was just, it's absolutely
With rage, disgust? Like,
unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable that we could have this happen yet again in less than 3 weeks. Unbelievable.
Here in Orlando, immigration advocates have been pressing the city to take action after we were first to report that ICE is considering turning a local warehouse into a detention facility, this warehouse. But a letter from the city attorney says that there is nothing Orlando can do to stop it. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valente has that letter.
Ever since we spotted ICE representatives conducting a site visit at a warehouse on Transport Drive, we've been asking city leaders how they planned to respond. Well, we now know that Mayor Buddy Dyer had asked the city attorney's office to research and report about the options the city has to regulate or prevent a plan to open a detention facility. The letter we obtained late Monday afternoon answers that question by citing the Federal Supremacy Clause of the Constitution. The city attorney in the letter writing that clause establishes federal laws as the supreme laws of the land and override and preempt any conflicting state or local laws or regulations. In some, she writes, quote, "We can take no action to limit or regulate any activity by the federal government in its action to enforce federal immigration law."
I'm requesting to block any potential deals before they actually happen.
At Monday's City Commission meeting, one person did broach ICE's interest in the warehouse. This was before we got our hands on the legal opinion. The city attorney notes in that opinion that some local leaders have suggested declaring moratoriums or using zoning ordinances to stop the use of property as ICE detention centers. However well motivated these suggestions are, she writes, the law is very clear.
Now, we did get a statement from Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer about this legal opinion. He writes in part that immigrants are a valued part of our community and have helped to shape a stronger, more vibrant Orlando. For his full statement and for the full letter, you can go to our website, clickorlando.com. Just to note, nothing has been signed, but of course, should that change, we'll let you know.
A social media challenge ends with the death of this dog right here. A Deltona woman believes the dog escaped as teens took part in the viral door kick challenge.
Now, at first, deputies told her there wasn't enough evidence to press charges. But after your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed made a call today, investigators reopened the case and found new leads.
I was originally coming here to Deltona to talk to this frustrated dog owner. She felt that justice was not being served for her family and her little Yorkie dog. But before I came here, I called the Volusia Sheriff's Office and asked them if they could explain why charges would not be filed against the teens they interviewed for allegedly kicking this homeowner's door in, letting the dog out. Originally, I was told there was not enough evidence to charge. But then I was told that phone call pushed them to take another closer look at the case. And while here talking to the dog's owner, I was able to give her a big update. So I have another quick update.
Yeah.
They told me there's going to be an arrest.
Oh, really?
What do you think hearing that?
Oh my gosh, like that's...
I got the text from the sheriff's office and immediately shared the news. Dasani Sid relieved to hear some justice will be served for her dog, Spooky. In December, Spooky escaped through the front door of their home. A neighbor a few streets over found him after he was hit by a car and killed.
I don't care about my door. Y'all can break my windows. I care less about that. But he didn't deserve to, he didn't deserve that.
Sid's cameras did not record the incident, but got this still photo of teens at her front porch after coming home to her doorframe looking like this. This video from her neighbor was one of the only other pieces of evidence they could find. She says it shows the teens walking away from her property. Detectives' original report mentioned a nearby teen's birthday party. The teens told investigators they were playing ding-dong ditch at neighbors' houses. Investigators have not yet said what piece of evidence reopened the case, which teen will be charged, or what the charge will be. Sid hopes the punishment will serve as a reminder that actions have consequences.
Have them do community service, you know, at a dog shelter. 3 years. That's how old Spooky was. That's how I feel.
And I'm told an arrest should be made within the next 24 hours. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
A disabled veteran had her van towed at MCO, but there is so much more to this story, Matt.
That's right. She had to park in 2 spots to get her wheelchair ramp down before flying out. But when she got back, her van was not where she left it.
If I don't have my van, I have no way to get home.
Next on News 6, I'm following up on some of the struggles our neighbors in need of handicap parking deal with in Central Florida, and what she showed me is eye-opening.
I was like, you know what? Everybody needs to know how these kids were not safe on that bus.
So she shared the cell phone pic online. Her son and several others had to sit on the school bus floor. We're asking why it happened.
You're watching News 6 on a Monday night. We're covering Altamont Springs, Avalon Park, and all of Central Florida. This portion of the news is sponsored by Central Florida Honda Dealers.
Now on News 6, a disabled veteran towed at Orlando International Airport because she couldn't find a place to park that met her needs.
It's a follow-up story I brought you last year. Handicapped drivers struggling to find parking all over Central Florida. So she reached out to me after that report aired, and I rode along, and Ginger, what she faces is eye-opening.
Sylvia Longmire with Spin the Globe, and today I arrived in London.
Sylvia Longmire is a travel influencer and disabled veteran. She rolls around the world, telling her nearly 100,000 TikTok followers how to globetrot in a wheelchair. Despite debilitating multiple sclerosis,
So easy.
she has explored 58 countries and all 50 states.
So you've been to Shanghai by yourself, New Zealand by yourself, but the most intimidating place you go might be the MCO parking lot. Is that true?
It's frustrating, absolutely. All right, let's do it.
So we decided to tag along on a trip to MCO's parking garage on a Friday to see how dicey parking a handicapped van can be. Longmire scoured every deck in the parking garage.
The adventure continues.
All right.
Until she made it to the very top. All the disabled spaces were spoken for.
Look, see, it's always over here.
She had to park across 2 regular spots so her ramp could extend. It's a familiar feeling. Last November, Longmire paid $160 to park in the reserve section at MCO. Again, the accessible spots were taken. As usual, she parked across the 2 spots at the end.
And I returned to find that my van was not where I left it. Started to try to avoid having an anxiety attack because if I don't have my van, I have no way to get home.
The van with a clear disabled veteran license plate was gone. The airport had it towed.
And I'm getting taken to an accessible shuttle that's going to take me to the impound lot to get my van.
3 hours and $50 later, she was able to head home.
Still haven't gone to the bathroom. I haven't eaten since yesterday, so that's the first priorities when I get home.
We reached out to MCO for comment. They sent us this response. We have already instructed parking staff to be more vigilant in recognizing vehicles that display a disabled license plate when they occupy multiple spaces. Unfortunately, the vehicle's plate was inadvertently overlooked.
That's not okay. That is not okay.
Inadvertently overlooked feels like the entire meat of this story, right? Is that how you feel, inadvertently overlooked?
I'm inadvertently overlooked almost on a daily basis as a wheelchair user, and I am not alone in that. So yeah, that is the core of the issue, isn't it?
Sitting on the floor of the school bus, a mom says her 13-year-old son was put in an unsafe situation in Osceola County, and he wasn't alone. News 6's Jana Manahalal spoke with that mom, taking her concerns directly to the school.
He sends me the picture, and immediately my heart dropped because in the picture you can see there's about 9 students sitting on that floor, including my son.
That photo was taken Friday, January 23rd, after Carla Hannon's son, Lucas, rode home from school in an Osceola County school bus. She says a substitute driver showed up in a wheelchair-accessible bus, and it was not designed to carry the number of students on that route.
Instead of calling into dispatch and saying, hey, I have too many kids, she didn't do that. I was pacing up and down my house, back and forth. My hands were shaking. I have never felt so frustrated and helpless at the same time.
Several students were seated on the floor near exposed metal, raising safety concerns if the bus had suddenly stopped.
That grate could come down and hit these children, or even if you have a front impact or back impact, these kids could go flying.
After receiving that picture, Carla said she called here to the Osceola County School District Transportation Unit, where she was put on hold for quite a while.
I sat here for a good 30 minutes and I was like, you know what? Everybody needs to know how these kids were not safe on that bus.
That's when she posted the picture online, quickly getting widespread attention and, at last, a response from the district, which read in part, "We are aware of the situation that occurred yesterday in which a wheelchair-accessible school bus was loaded with more students than available seats. The incident is being investigated and an appropriate action will be taken by management." When I contacted the district, they told me they reached out to parents via the school's alert system. And as for Carla, well, she hopes the district follows through and ensures this never happens again. In Osceola County, I'm Jada Manahalal, News 6.
All sorts of things wash up on Central Florida beaches, right? But people in Flagler County got a big surprise when a sailboat washed ashore with 3 people, including a child. Flagler Beach Fire Rescue got a call from the Coast Guard to help with the boat capsizing off Flagler Beach. But when crews got to the edge of the ocean at 4:30 Saturday morning, they found this. A sailboat had run aground on a sandbar right near the shore. 2 adults and a child were on board. A rescuer pulled out all 3. They were taken to a hotel for shelter, and they are all okay. All right, back to our big story, the Central Florida freeze. As we said earlier, almost all of Central Florida right now under a freeze watch or a freeze warning. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, how cold is it going to get tonight? Because like we said, this is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. This is just the start. One of the warmer nights, Eric, and that's going to put things into perspective as we go forward here. Look at the temperature change over the past 24 hours. Remember last night, we were breaking records. 87 degrees yesterday. Step outside, it is not that right now. Again, we are 23 degrees cooler at this hour when compared to last night in Orlando. 27 degrees colder, 30 degrees colder at this hour than 24 hours ago. So this front means business. That means last night, again, we were at 74. Now we're at 44 in Ocala. Palm Coast, we were at 45. Orlando, we're hanging at 50. Melbourne, good evening. We're back to the mid-50s as well as the temperatures with that strong breeze continue to take a tumble tonight. Here is a live look outside in downtown Orlando. The sky cam still shaking around. It's a live look with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope sky cam. And again, the gusts are up there. Every now and then, they're pushing 30 to 35 miles an hour, especially along the coast. Hanging around 50 degrees right now under a clear sky. It's that breeze sustained at about 15 to 20 miles an hour right out of the north. That is bringing in that big, gigantic chunk of colder air right on down the Florida peninsula. Hour by hour forecast. When you wake up tomorrow, most of us will be in the low to mid 30s. Northwest of I-4, there will be a few 40s hanging around. We're right around 40 degrees by 9, middle 40s by 11 o'clock. Sunshine will be dominant. This may not help too much unless you're standing right in there. Lower 50s by 1 o'clock as we bring back the chill after the record-breaking warmth yesterday. There we go. Tomorrow morning in your neighborhood, Ocala, we're slipping back to the upper 20s, 26 in Denellen, 38 in Kissimmee. Melbourne, good evening. We're back to 43 when you wake up tomorrow. And again, potentially one of the warmer mornings of the bunch over the next 7 days, just to put that into perspective. Tomorrow, sunshine again out in full force. We're back into the 50s, so it's likely struggle to get out of the upper 40s in Palm Coast. Here's the pattern. Again, we are locked into it, a big-time winter pattern for this time of the year. We have this big ridge building towards the Intermountain West. That sends this gigantic dip in the jet stream again. We are connected right through the Hudson Bay and back up into the Arctic. Steady stream of colder air continues to push on down, and that is what delivers us some extremely cold air as we get into the weekend, mainly Saturday night, and then by the time you wake up on Sunday morning, air temperature is going to be back into the 20s. That includes the Orlando metro area again. Haven't really seen that since way back in 2018. If we get colder than 27, which is certainly a possibility at the Orlando International Airport, it'll be the first time since 2010. So this is some big time cold. Again, temperature trend just goes to show where we stand over the next few days. High temperatures are going to struggle to get out of the 50s and sometimes even the 40s, but all the way through the first couple of days of February. So again, this cold blast, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's not like our typical 1 to 2 day affair. We're back to the upper 50s on Wednesday, low 60s on Thursday. Our warm day is Friday. You see the rain chances going up a little bit. That's our next big cold front. And then there comes the big chill, Eric, back to the 20s Sunday morning and Monday morning.
Only the beginning. Like we said, Jonathan, thank you. There's nothing to do downtown besides the bars. At least that's what we hear from people going to Orlando's stadiums. But now a plan to renovate the road that connects all of them could change things. Next at 10, News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez shows us how the city is making it easier to get around.
revitalizing downtown. I'm Stephanie Rodriguez reporting from Orlando. The city is set to select a contractor for its Church Street project. They want to improve Church Street from Garland Avenue all the way down to John Young Parkway, roughly 2 miles. They want to improve the experience for people who are visiting, especially because so many people are drawn to this area because of downtown events. How often do you walk on Church Street?
Every single morning.
Church Street between Garland and JYP is filled with cars and people.
Like every single day or every other day, it seems like there's always an event going on, and I like it.
The city's goal is to make this area feel just as active during the day as it is at night, and more comfortable for people walking around.
I think expansion and growth is good, as long as it's here to listen to what Orlando wants.
The project is set to enhance travel times, reduce congestion, and improve pedestrian crossings along the roadway. And it's a very important part of Orlando, as 3 of the city's major venues are on this stretch. The Kia Center, Inter and Coast Stadium, where the Orlando City and Pride play, and Camping World Stadium. But when events let out, thousands of people can be moving through here at once. These improvements, along with a $400 million upgrade to Camping World Stadium, could entice people to arrive earlier for events and stay later. Do you think if they made more pedestrian options in general, that during the events more people might choose to walk instead of drive?
100%. 100%.
This is all part of the city's plan to revitalize downtown, and it will go hand in hand with the Canopy project, which is coming in 2027. This project will turn this I-4 underpass into an immersive public area. Reporting in Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
It's all about the cold, Eric. Cold
much.
tonight, more cold coming in for the weekend. Could be coolest in more than 10 years.
Hope you're staying warm and lots of shelters open. Those are all over clickorlando.com in case your heat doesn't work. Bye.